Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
How are we doing? Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Hope you are well. It is Summerfest, baby, and we are out here, I would say next to X Golf, but we're really not next to X Golf. I can see X Golf from where we are, so we're kind of kitty corner from X Golf. And again, they are giving you an opportunity. First one to get a hole-in-one has a chance to win $5,000 in the hole-in-one competition going on over there. They also have X Golf Simulator out here as well. If you're looking for us, we're right along the water. You'll see the big, green X Golf truck, and we're just next to that. Come on out here. We have T-shirts that we'll have until we run out each day. So I have a limited amount each day that you can come out here and get. We got pop sockets for the back of your phones. We got bags to give away, too. So if you're coming down to Summerfest, whether you're coming down from Green Bay or Wausau, or maybe you're making the drive from Duluth, Superior, or making the drive from Madison, listening to the Fan in Madison, whatever it may be, we're down here each and every Thursday and Friday. I'll be down here pretty much every day. Then this afternoon, after the Brewers game is done, the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show will be here. So once the game is done, Tommy and Tim Allen will be here broadcasting at Summerfest up until 6 o'clock this evening. A beautiful day. A little bit breeze, but other than that, absolutely gorgeous. We'd love to see you come on down here and hang out with you. So coming up on today's show, while the Brewers game is going on, we will talk some Bucks. We got some Packers as well. Green and Gold update coming up at 2:20. Normally we do that at 4. Now the expectation is 1 o'clock start. This game will be done by 4. So that's why we moved it up to 2:20. Charlie Sounds of the day normally is at 3:40, but could be a chance the game's done by then. So we moved that up to 3 o'clock. So we're talking some Bucks basketball throughout the show today and some Packers to go along with it. Obviously the Brewers are playing. First question of the day concerns Tyler Hero because it's you'd have to either be living under a rock, maybe not on social media or don't have sports friends or maybe NBA friends that you don't know. But anytime you bring up Tyler Hero's name to anybody and you start talking about, hey, Tyler Hero might be coming back, Wisconsin native and a buck straight for Giannis, what do you think? Most of them get mad and be like, I don't want Tyler Hero on my team. I want nothing to do with Tyler Hero. I was on a radio station, my boys Dirt and Sprague in Portland earlier this morning. We were talking about Tyler Hero, and they started laughing. They're like, yeah, nobody wants him here either, pretty much. So either way, my question is this. Are we underrating Tyler Hero and what he could be for Milwaukee? Now, the reason we're asking this is because there are a couple of people in the national media that have other ideas about Giannis and the Bucks and potentially Tyler Hero and all of that. First, let's start with Michael Wilbon of PTI. Now, first of all, understand Michael Wilbon is a Chicago guy, first and foremost, right? So it's kind of like having Danny Parkins talking about anything involving Wisconsin, formerly of The Score, now with FS1. So you got to take it with a grain of salt a little bit. But Michael Wilbon did talk about Giannis and the Bucks. Let's hear what he had to say.
This is interesting to me because I don't believe in Giannis anymore. Giannis is a rumor. Giannis hadn't done jack in the months that matter, which would be May and June since 2021. 5 years is forever in professional sports. Giannis is a multiple-time MVP, a great player, a Hall of Famer, and as you said, a champion. He was that. Yeah. I ain't seen evidence of it. Sorry. A league can now, particularly the NBA, it can pass you by. And with a ton of wings who are 6'9", 6'10", sort of size, DeBanza and Caleb Wilson and those kids coming in the league, Giannis can look obsolete fairly quickly if he can't get his butt out there and contribute heavily, massively in May, June. And I don't know that. I would not rearrange my franchise for Giannis. Tyler Hero leads his team in scoring. He's an all-star. Yeah. I know he's had some injury issues at times, but he plays more than Giannis lately, and he doesn't seem to be the diva that Giannis is. So if it sounds like I'm piling on Giannis? Yeah, a little bit for a guy as a player I used to love. I love him less now because I ain't seen nothing lately. I don't know that I want to give up Jaylen Brown for him because Tatum has to show me that he is truly, completely healthy, and we don't know that just yet.
So there's Michael Wilbon trashing Giannis and talking about Tyler Hero and so forth. Now, again, when I saw that the other day, I sent it to Charlie and just went, ugh, Michael Wilbon. Like, come on, man. Like, I was debating holding on to this to plead the fifth, brought to you by Habish and Rotier, coming up tomorrow at 4:20, but I just couldn't. This kind of stupidity we have to talk about. When we start talking about Tyler Hero and what he is one way or the other. Tyler Hero, just quickly here, looking at Tyler Hero's numbers. Last year, he averaged 31 minutes. He only played in 33 games. So talking again about injuries and so forth. And in those games, he was 7.5 made field goals per game out of about 15.5 field goals attempted. So 48% from the field. From three-point range, he was 37%, 2.5 to about 6.5 attempts in that area. About 5 rebounds a game, 4 assists a game, half steal, half block for Tyler Hero. The previous year, he played in 77 games. So that's a good sample size of, what he looks like for the most part. He averaged almost 24 points per game in the year that he played 77. He shot 47% from the field. From three-point range, 37%, which is obviously a good thing as well. 5 rebounds, 5.5 assists a game, a steal a game. And what was he at here? Just under 3 rebounds per game for Tyler Hero. Before that, he played in 42 games. So let's see, 33 games, 77 games, 42 games. Prior to that, 67, 66, 54, 55. So as much as we talk about Giannis being hurt and not being able to play and so forth, it's not like Tyler Hero is a picture of health at this point, Charlie.
No, he's not. And I think what Tyler Hero brings to you as a piece of a team is mostly as that second or third option. Now, you have said in the past that you don't even think he's a second option. I think he's a good second option for a team that has a star in front of him as well. I think he can come out and elevate his team. He's shown that in the past. When Bam Adebayo's been at his best, Tyler Hero has been a number 2 that's helped them out. Now, Bam Adebayo hasn't always been at his best, so that's why he's not that true star that you'd be looking at. But alongside some other players, if you were to put a guy that you think has that ceiling a little bit higher than a Tyler Hero, this is a guy that is playing enough, I think, that can help you out in those moments. And I think you saw how much the Heat missed him last season when he wasn't on the court, and then they were able to fight back a little bit when he was back on the court for that team. I think that if you are the Milwaukee Bucks and you can find some ways to move Giannis and bring in a piece in this draft that you feel like could be that next star, Tyler Hero is a good guy to fit in next to him that will play at least, typically around 60 games a season. And that's what you can rely on. And I think that's good enough in today's NBA where most guys aren't playing an entire season.
He hasn't played more than 60 games all but one time in the last 3 seasons. Once. 33 games last year, 77, 42 games before
67,
that. He's
66
only,
before that, and then played full seasons and shortened seasons before that.
Okay, so, again, to me, the whole idea of, oh, my God, he's healthier than Giannis. Like, that's your guy. Like, I don't think I necessarily agree with that he's a picture of health. The second thing I definitely don't think I agree with is Tyler Hero closer. Now, we've heard that as well, Charlie, about Tyler Hero being a closer. Now, who said that moronic statement talking about Tyler Hero being a closer? I'm trying to remember. Was that Kendrick Perkins? Who was that talked about Tyler Hero being a closer?
That was, Doc Rivers that said that.
Yeah, good. Let's hear. Doc Rivers was with Bill Simmons on Bill Simmons' podcast. Let's hear that.
But for him, I don't understand why he would want to go to Miami's the one I can't figure out unless they have other moves coming that I don't know. Because it's all right, it's him and Bam, but you just traded everybody else. So where are you going?
And you would have traded your closer because Tyler Hero's a closer.
Right.
Say what you want about him, but he's a straight up
So why
closer.
would I want to go laterally? I would just rather stay in Milwaukee at that point.
My guess is that's where he's trusting their front office that they have the ability to add more pieces. Those are the talks we're not in.
After the last 2 rounds of basketball we watched, you You need like 7, 8 dudes.
You need a lot of guys.
It can't just be you and Bam Adebayo, and it can't be you and Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
You know, that the other thing that Doc brought up when he was talking about Giannis was that you're going to need a closer to play with Giannis. Like, you can't necessarily look at Giannis and go finish a game. And that may seem crazy, but that's true. We talked about that with us on this show for the last couple of years. Like, who's that guy at the end of the game? And that's why when they got Damian Lillard, Charlie, it was such a big deal. Hero is coming here, and they have Bam in Miami. Who's their closer? Who's going to be the guy that's going to finish? Like, they're going to have to make a significant second move in order to go find a guard or a wing that can be that guy at the end. Unless you trust the next Wilt, Bam Adebayo,
83
to
points,
be the next guy.
83 points in a game isn't easy, Sparky. Come on now. Let's stop underrating our guy.
You guys stop.
I mean, I think with those two players, though, and Bam is still, and I said this yesterday, an all-star level player, defensive player of the year candidate, usually throughout every season. I think he's a guy who's good enough that if you have him and Giannis and then a third player who's maybe not the true star, but is a pure kind of scorer, if that's like a D'Angelo Russell type of guy, like those types of players, Trae Young, who just turned down his player option with the Washington Wizards. And that's really kind of confusing move from him because he talked about how he wanted to be in Washington.
Well, they're saying he's going to sign a 3-year deal.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do if nobody's interested in giving him a better opportunity, or the Wizards aren't interested in trading him beyond because they don't think they can get any value for that. I think that's the second option to them trying to find a different destination for him. I think if you were to go and get a guy like Trae Young in a move where you also have Giannis, like that's a perfect player for that. It doesn't have to be a stud; it just has to be a guy who can put the ball in the basket and probably not do much else.
You know, the other part about this, too, when we talk about Tyler Hero, as far as what is Tyler Hero really at the end of the day, because he wants an extension, he wants to get paid. I understand all of that. Now, I don't know what Tyler Hero would say if you said, Tyler, what are you? Would Tyler Hero go, man, I could be the next James Harden if they just let me be a one on a team and let me go be that guy? Because I think he had that opportunity here in Miami recently to try and go be the guy to lead a team, to go win a championship, to go do all that. And didn't necessarily get it done at the end of the day. And that's why you're looking for superstars. You know, they had LeBron, they had Wade. Now they're trying to get Giannis to come here and play. Or would Tyler Hero look at you and go, you know, I'm probably more of a second scoring option next to a superstar. I think that's maybe where my role is. I don't know if I think he's a 1 or a 2, if we're being honest. I think maybe I look at Tyler Hero and go, maybe he's a third option, right? Maybe he is Middleton to Lillard and Giannis. Maybe that's what you're asking for him to be at the end, but he also needs his shots. He needs his 15 to 16 shots to get himself in a rhythm, to get himself going. The other option would be, okay, it is the guy could be best sixth man in the NBA. Come off the bench, provide some offense, be that guy on a championship caliber roster. I just think that right now he thinks potentially that he's a 1. And I don't see it.
I don't think he's a 1, but I would argue that he proved he could be a 2, not last season, but the season before when he was an all-star, when halfway through the season, Jimmy Butler gets traded and it's just kind of a whole fiasco going on there. And he stepped up in a big way behind Bam Adebayo to be that number 2 option for that team and helped keep them in playoff contention. And I don't know how much of that, I guess, goes to the coaching staff and Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat, because I think that also has a lot to do with any kind of player's development, especially in a team where you are being moved around in your role a lot because of these injuries, because of the disgruntled stars that are around. I think you have those moments, but I also think Tyler Hero, if given that opportunity, he's proven that his ceiling is at least an all-star in that second type of tier spot. And I think that's something we have to give him credit for moving forward here. I don't think that you can just automatically say, oh, he's a 6 man a year hot microwave type scorer, because I think he's better than a Lou Williams if you made Lou Will a second option. I think he's better than a Jamal Crawford if you made Jamal Crawford a second option. I think he can hold his own and be an all-star caliber player at that spot.
Talking with Charlie Uza, our producer, back in the studio. I'm Steve Sparky Pfeiffer out here by the X Golf Hole in One Challenge, along with the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Come on down. Get yourself a chance to win $5,000 for the first hole in one that happens out here. Last year, there was a car. It was a different sponsor. There was a car you could win. And I think last year, the very first day, somebody hit a hole in one. And then that was it for the rest of Summerfest. There was no more car to win. So this year, X Golf has taken over, and they're offering up 5 Gs. If you can be the first one to hit a hole in one out here at Summerfest. Asking you about Tyler Hero right now. Are we underrating Tyler Hero and what he could be for the Milwaukee Bucks if there indeed is a Giannis trade? Nikolay Law Talk at text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the 262, fine. We take Tyler Hero and a couple first-round picks for Giannis. Then we flip Hero for a second-round pick and a G League player. That's Ziggy. Nah, you're going to get way more than that, Ziggy. I think you're trying to be funny. You're going to be able to get more than that. You know, there's all this talk that the Pistons are very interested in Tyler Hero. They were interested in Tyler Hero apparently in the last year as well. Hero, from my understanding, only wants to go somewhere where he's going to sign an extension and get a long-term deal so he doesn't have to move again after being somewhere else 1 year. That's the other tricky part about this. As we've talked about, this is going to have to be a 3 or 4 team trade if, you know, indeed they are going to move Giannis. 262 says, I hate Wilbon. This is Greg and Franklin. I hate Wilbon, but I couldn't agree more with his take. They screwed up by not trading Giannis 2 or 3 years ago, and now they're done. They will be the Wizards until the next miracle comes along in the draft. Guaranteed contracts must die. That is Greg and Franklin. Couple things. If we're going to talk about who should have guarantees and who shouldn't have guarantees, the National Football League are the ones that should have guaranteed contracts. They're the ones that literally rest of their lives are screwed up after they're done playing the game of football. They're the ones that could essentially end up paralyzed on a football field and everything be completely different at the end of the day. They're the ones that could potentially die on a football field before everything is said and done. They deserve guaranteed contracts. The NBA? No, I don't think so. I think if it was a setup like the NFL where it's guaranteed money and the rest of it's not guaranteed, I'd be fine with that. Major League Baseball, same thing. If it was guaranteed money for the signing bonus, the rest non-guaranteed, I'd be fine with that. I think the NHL, I could hear the argument about who deserves guaranteed money and who doesn't. Again, because of the violence of the sport in which the NHL is playing with. And again, I don't know life expectancy of an NHL player versus some other guys, but that is another sport that's very, very violent that you would have to consider kind of going forward there. The other part, too, about this is when we talk about this 2 or 3 years ago trade thing, if they trade Giannis 2 or 3 years ago, they are absolutely 1,000,000% the bad guy, because he has been saying for the last couple of years, I never asked for a trade. I never asked for a trade. So if you would have traded Giannis 2 or 3 years ago, yes, you would have gotten an absolute haul. I agree. But would it be worth ruining the legacy of everybody involved in order to make that work? Like, you better, for 100% certain, get that trade right. If you're trading him 2 years before his deal is up or 3 years before his deal is up, like I just don't think any GM or anybody of the sort would do that. Let's go to Jeff in Greendale. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily with me, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, out here at Summerfest. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, not much, Sparky. How you been lately?
Doing good, buddy.
Good. Hey, I'm mixed on it. I do like Tyler Hero. I'm not a guy that's going to foo-foo him, but I guess it would all depend on how he's getting traded. You know, like, is it going to be the Giannis and Tyler are the 2 stars in the trade? Then no, I'm not for it. But if Giannis is staying and we can somehow, if it's, you know, a pick, and I don't know who's out there, it's always being thrown that was it Bobby or Kuzman? You know, I'm not saying they're going to take it, but just those type of players, along with a draft pick or something like that, or one of the younger guys gets thrown in with one of those 2, then I'm more for it, for him to be alongside Giannis. But as a straight up, you know, like, those are your 2 main stars of a trade, then no, I'm not big on that one, because I think then at that point you got to get, my opinion, is a 3-team trade. If Tyler's going to come over here, because the Bucks, I have to get more than just Tyler, in my opinion.
All right, Jeff, let me throw this at you. Andy Herman was on earlier today on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor was off today, so it was Josh and Aaron. And Andy Herman said that he thinks people are looking at this the wrong way. That instead of looking at this as Tyler Hero is the centerpiece of this deal, when really it's an expiring contract, instead of looking at it that way, he said the centerpiece of this deal are going to be what they do with all the first-round picks they get. That will be the determining factor of how good this deal is. It's not going to be how good Tyler Hero is for the 1 year that he's here. It's going to be all about those first-round picks.
I mean, I can see that. I guess I can kind of go with that without having to process it really quick here. I could see that, especially if it's an expired contract, because then you're looking at what you can do next year. So that's always a good thing. I would say, do you know like what picks they would be getting? Are you talking like multiple teams, or what are Miami's picks again?
Well,
I apologize, I just don't remember.
Yeah, Charlie can bring it up on his side, but yeah, I mean it's several picks. You're gonna get pick 13 this year as part of this deal. Hero would be part of it. Khalil Ware obviously would be a part of it. The young center for Miami, who, when he was playing well, looked like a promising player for sure. However, I believe it was multiple times last year, Spoelstra got so frustrated with him, he took him out of the rotation and didn't play him. So, again, Spoelstra has high expectations and so forth as far as how they play. Hold on. Stop the presses. Blake Perkins just hit one into the corner at American Family Field. May want to go play the lottery tonight if they're Brewers fan.
Gary Sanchez is hustling on it.
Gary Sanchez got from first to third. Yeah.
He almost went home.
Doesn't need oxygen either. He's just standing there cool, calm, and collected. But Charlie, you got
Miami though.
Oh, that maybe. Let's hope not. Charlie, you got the proposed Miami trade up over on your side of the world. What is it?
All right, so it would be number 13 this year, like we said, Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware. In looking at no other assets in this trade, you would get their 2031 first-round pick and their 2029, 2031, and then 2033, I think, in the future, pick swap there.
Right, so you're talking like 3 first-round picks and 3 first-round picks, including 13 this year. So you'd have 10 and 13 in the first round, plus 1 or 2 first-round pick swaps in the future. So, again, you're talking like 6 players when you start talking about draft picks.
I mean, that's a pretty impressive haul from any team for Giannis at this point. Just the problem is it's Miami Heat, and I think that team is going to consistently be competitive moving forward here with Eric Spoelstra as their coach, with Giannis on that roster. They're going to find ways to continue to win because that's what they've always done. I don't know if Tyler Hero's coming back, like Jeff was saying, there is the main piece of that trade and is going to be that number 1 option. That's where I think I'm less comfortable with that. But again, if he's a number 2 option, like I keep talking to anybody else, whether it's keeping Giannis and you find a way to bring in a Tyler Hero, or it's going and getting a draft pick at number 10, or maybe a draft pick higher, packaging some of the things that you got and getting a star player in the earlier part of this draft and thinking that's a number 1 option next to a Tyler Hero, I'm in for that.
It's going to be fun to see what happens. As far as if this thing gets done before Tuesday night for the draft, don't forget Pro Hoops Draft Show comes up Tuesday night here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network from 6 to 9. Former Badger center and NBA center Brian Butch will be hosting the show along with Brandon Snide. Again, Tuesday night, 6 to 9. See Sparky Fifer with you out here, Wisconsin Sports Daily at Summerfest. Don't forget Tim Allen will be out here along with Tommy Wirtz for the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show. Once this Brewers game is final, it's 2-1 Brewers. Cooper Pratt with the deep fly ball to score Gary Sanchez from third base. It had to be a deep fly ball that scored Gary Sanchez from third base. So 2-1 Brewers. Blake Perkins, who set that up with a double, still standing on second base with 1 out. Joey Ortiz, of course, out.
Pretty
so
bad
now
strike.
2 outs.
Too,
so now 2 outs. I don't know. I know they don't want to send him down and they don't want to hurt his feelings and all of that, but he does have an option.
So cut him and let him find a different team. I don't know, man.
Chet Williams just had a multiple homer game, I think, the other day down in Nashville. Like I don't know if they eventually do that or
Andrew
not.
Fisher hit a home run in his first double-A at bat.
Yep, he sure did last night. And it was, as Tommy pointed out, I saw the highlight, the wind was blowing in. I mean, he hit that thing into the teeth of the wind and absolutely crushed that ball, no doubt. So Brewers are up 2-1. We'll take a quick time out. Come back on the other side. Green and gold update time earlier than normal. And there's been a lot of conversation, couple different articles about our good friend, good buddy, No Name himself, for the Green Bay Packers. We'll discuss what that's all about coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, out here at Summerfest by the X Golf Hole-in-One competition. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Summerfest out here by the Hole-in-One, brought to you by X Golf. Come on out, say hi. Got a bunch of stuff we can give away between now and 6 o'clock. I'm out here till the Brewers game is done. Brewers are up 2-1 right now over the Guardians, trying to sweep the Guardians at American Family Field. And then after I'm done, in comes Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz for the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show after the Brewers game. Coming up later this afternoon. They'll be out here till 6 o'clock this evening. Come get your autographs, pictures taken with the franchise Tim Allen or the big old hunk of love, Tommy Wirtz. Love to see you out here at Summerfest. Lots of cool stuff going on. Obviously, music everywhere you look. Bands on all kinds of different stages. We can hear music pretty much the entire time we're out here where we're set up right along the water. So normally we do this segment at 4 o'clock, but today, Charlie, we're doing it at 2:20.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
All right, time to talk some Green Bay Packers. Normally, again, we do this at 4 o'clock. Brewers should be done by 4, so we're doing it earlier at 2:20 today. If you're new to the show, we normally talk Brewers, Packers, and Bucks every single day. We try to give love to each team for at least one segment, regardless of what is going on. That's normally our goal. Not that we're always able to do that, but we try to do that and really can do it at this time of the year. So, Green and Gold update, No Name. For those of you that don't know out here who the heck No Name is, that is Marshawn Lloyd, the Packers running back. The reason we call him No Name is because I'm not going to bring him up by name until he actually plays more than one game in a row. He just says he's not on the field. He plays a half, he's hurt, he's gone. So why do we need to go over this? But multiple stories out there on Marshawn Lloyd. This one from Matt Schneidman in The Athletic yesterday. Let me read some of it for you. His list of injuries looks like a CVS receipt. Hamstring, hip, ankle, groin, calf, and even appendicitis. Longtime Packers running backs coach Ben Sermon put it best. We're very optimistic, but we've all been optimistic before, Sermon said, so we just got to see what's going to happen. That's the thing. This is the one thing that I want to emphasize and make sure everybody understands. By me calling him No Name does not mean that I don't believe in him, does not mean that I don't think he can be good. I think he could be an absolute stud in the National Football League. I think he could be really, really good. My frustration, like everybody else's frustration, is the dude cannot stay healthy. And that is a problem, especially when you look at this running back room right now, and you're pretty much looking at him, relying on him to be the guy if Josh Jacobs gets beat up. And Josh Jacobs is not getting any younger and does take a beating throughout the course of a season. Last year, he played hurt for a good part of the season, did Josh Jacobs. So now you're looking at Lloyd to say, okay, you and Chris Brooks have got to pick up the slack here of what that's going to be. And if Lloyd had been healthy the last couple of years, there would be no concern whatsoever that Marshawn Lloyd could actually get this done at the end of the day. Now, in this article, our guy, Matt Schneidman, talked to Dr. John Meyer. And Dr. John Meyer is the chairman of Performance, Health, and Wellness for the Los Angeles Clippers, and the director of player performance for the Kings. He runs the Meyer Institute of Sport in El Segundo, California. And Lloyd spent multiple months this offseason living with his girlfriend in Airbnb and visiting Meyer's facility to fix his body. Some of the stuff that Meyer said, quote, it's getting him to load those joints of his knee, ankle, and his hip in a coordinated fashion to execute all the different cuts and change the direction that he needs to do. And after you suffer not only the knee injury, but then the subsequent soft tissue issues or injuries, because of the totality of those injuries and some of the compounding factors at the time, he just was compensating in some of these patterns. I think both mentally and physically, he had to train himself to get through that, and that's what takes time. I mean, we are literally talking about a guy that's had several injuries, that he's went to work out at a specialty, essentially, clinic in the offseason to try to stay healthy this year. Can I tell you what gives me hope about this situation?
Go for it.
What gives me hope is the Packers didn't send anybody to California prior, but they did send Christian Watson to UW-Madison. And what did they send him there to do? To figure out his hamstring issues and how to keep him healthy. And what has happened? They pretty much figured it out, Charlie. they figured it out, and he has been pretty much okay from that perspective, right?
He has, and not really even okay, like great. Whenever he's been able to be on the field, he's been a really phenomenal piece of this Packers offense. Enough so that they paid him a pretty sizable contract this offseason because they feel like they believe in the science that went behind getting him healthy and getting him to a point where he understands his body. I think that's really, truly the biggest piece of this, and what the Packers have started to figure out here is sometimes it's not about just fixing the existing injury or whatever is happening right now, but understanding why that injury happened and whether or not a player or a person can adjust the way they play the game or the way that they live their daily life to the point where they can avoid those types of injuries in the future. And I think they did that with Christian Watson. I think you've seen it in just, again, the way that he plays. It looks more controlled. It looks like he understands his body and his style of play more. And I think doing something like that with Marshawn Lloyd would be really important to his development, doing it early on enough in his career, especially for a running back where their careers just don't last that long in general, that you get him to a point where he understands early on how to avoid injuries like this, these soft tissue ones, these ones that the cramps, the hamstring pulls, stuff like that always come back for a lot of these guys, how to avoid that in the future.
You know, the question that we're going to ask off this Marshawn Lloyd topic is, what underperforming Packers player do you think will finally break out this season? Who's that guy? Maybe you think it's no name. Maybe you think it's Marshawn Lloyd. Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Don't forget, we're streaming live on X, on Instagram Live, on YouTube at WI Sports Radio. Plus, you also can check us out streaming there on the Fan Milwaukee Facebook page. Who is that guy for you that maybe did not have a great year last year, but now this year we'll be talking about, man, oh man, he took a big step forward this season. I think when you look at it from my perspective and looking at the Green Bay Packers of who takes that next step, you may absolutely think I'm nuts on this, Charlie, and if you do, that's okay. I'm going to say it's going to be Jordan Morgan at left tackle, the guy that's been absolutely crushed for the last 2 years of not being great at right guard, a little bit better at right tackle. I think Jordan Morgan is going to be that guy that at the end of this season, people are going to owe apologies to Brian Gutekunst and say, hey, man, you were right. This was the right move. It looks like maybe we've got our left tackle for the next decade. I think Jordan Morgan plays really well at left tackle and shuts down all the naysayers that have questioned whether or not that was a good pick by the Green Bay Packers.
I think that might be you just wishing that into existence. Like you're just going to say it out loud, hope it sticks in the air, and then it comes true, right?
I don't do that very well if you go back on my history of wishing things into thin air. So, yeah.
I believe in Jordan Morgan to at least go out there and be serviceable and be at least what Rasheed Walker was, which I know you want more than that out of Jordan Morgan because he's a first-round pick. But at the same time, what he's gone through in the early parts of his career here, I think you just need him to start somewhere, and you need him to have a decent start somewhere. And I think that can be at left tackle for him for sure. I don't really want to get stuck in the same kind of cycle that I did last year, but it's really hard for me not to say Lucas Van Ness right now. I think the player that he could be when he's healthy and when he's on that field, he's shown it over the course of the past couple preseasons. And I think in a little bit of snaps that he got last season, you saw him take a small step forward. I really think he has to take a huge step forward this year, and he has to be on the field, especially in the absence of a Micah Parsons. And if he's not going to be that guy for me, somebody else on that defense that has to, into my mind, has to kind of step up here. I think one of these cornerbacks has to step up too, especially since they didn't go out there and give anybody else a chance outside of drafting Brandon Cisse and signing Ben St. Juste, who I don't really think is a real kind of cornerback to start in this league. Carrington Valentine, I think in my mind, has to go out there and take a big step, and I think he can take a big step. He's another guy who's shown at points in his career with this Packers team, and the reason that they keep giving him opportunities at that position is that he has talent. He has the ability to make plays. It's just that half the time he makes some really boneheaded decisions, and I think that's a struggle that this Packers team has been willing to fight through. And this year, if he's going to start struggling like that, they're going to move him off the field. So I think he kind of has to go out there and prove himself. And I think that's why he can be great this year.
All right, so he's hoping that Carrington Valentine turns into a real good cornerback. I'm looking at Jordan Morgan, hoping kind of the same thing for Jordan Morgan left tackle. Now, in fairness, if we're going to compare the two, Carrington Valentine has shown he's had his issues while being a cornerback. We have not really seen Jordan Morgan at all at left tackle for the Green Bay Packers. So you have a basis of what you've seen of how you think he can get better and take it to the next level. I have a basis of, well, this is what Brian Gutekunst thought. This is the position he played in college. This is the position that he said he wanted to play coming out of college and has not been allowed to do that. All we have really to go off of with him is what? The training camp and preseason games last year where you saw Jordan Morgan play left tackle.
And one game at the end of the season last season, too.
Right. And in fairness, he didn't suck, Charlie.
No.
He did not suck.
He looked decent enough, and I think the snaps that he got at right tackle in meaningful games this season, he looked pretty good in those spots too. So I think I just trust him more overall as a tackle now, and I do believe what the Packers have been saying and what the reporters have been saying, that he's just meant to play tackle. That also frustrates me that he's been put into those guard situations over the past couple of seasons, if this is really what he's been meant to be, because I think that keeps him a step behind. At the same time, because this is what everybody's been saying, because everybody's been promising us that he's that left tackle, like you've been saying, I'm willing to go in with some confidence that, again, he can go out there and at least be serviceable for this team to start off.
Yeah, and that's the one thing we're going to have to wait and see how this whole thing plays out going forward. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Don't forget, the Minions. You know the Minions, new movie coming out, Minions and the Monsters. Minions really wanted to impress their new big boss. That's Wendy's. So they cooked up some fun chaos for the fans. Say hello to the Minions and Monsters meal, featuring one of 4 unique collectibles. The new Banana Frosty Swirl, your choice of a big bacon classic or spicy chicken sandwich, plus a small fry. It's time to go bananas over this exclusive Wendy's experience, limited time only. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios out here at Summerfest by the Hole-in-One competition, brought to you by X Golf. First one to hit a hole-in-one gets $5,000, courtesy of X Golf. So go give that a shot when you're out here, right along the water. It's an island hole, like on a barge. Go give that a shot and see if you can win yourself $5,000. Coming up next, we change gears again. Back to the Bucks we go. And I'm curious here. We talked about Tyler Hero in the first segment. This is something that I'm interested in. What if the Miami Heat deal is as good as it gets? And what if the Bucks are like, that's the best offer we have. That's not good enough. We're not making a deal. We're going to wait this till the other side of the draft, and we'll work out a deal maybe in July or August about potentially moving Giannis. We're not going to get any draft picks for this year. We're going to draft at 10, and we're going to move on. Is that good or is that bad if they decide not to do anything but wait to trade Giannis until later in the summer? Nicolay Law Talk, text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials at WI Sports Radio. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you out here at Summerfest. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Fiver with you. Our guy Charlie Houston producing back in the studio. We're out here at Summerfest doing our thing by the hole-in-one brought to you by X Golf. They have the simulator out here. First one to hit a hole-in-one at the hole-in-one contest, $5,000. So come on down here right along the water. It's got, the hole is on a barge like it is every other year out here at Summerfest. Come on over, say hi. If you're in the area, Tim Allen, Tommy Wirtz will be out here as well to do the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show once this game is done between the Brewers and Guardians. Cleveland had a home run earlier in this inning, so now it's 2-2, top of 6 between the Brewers and Guardians at American Family Field. So it'll be fun to have those guys come out here in just a little bit. And speaking of that Potawatomi Sportsbook, I'm telling you, man, 2,000 square foot screen there in the sportsbook, 2 levels. You have the Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen to go along with it, all-day brunch, burgers, wraps, full menu, whatever it may be. Over 40 different beers on tap at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Over a dozen different specialty cocktails to go along with it. Shuttles to and from all Brewers home games. Park for free in their parking garage. And then, in order to ride their shuttle, it costs you $5. Make a $5 purchase or $5 bet there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Ask for your bracelet, and you are all set. Also, always recommend maybe reserving your seat ahead of time if you're going to watch games at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, because it can get pretty busy. You can do all of that and find out more information by simply going to Potawatomi.com. Trell is on hold. He wanted to talk about the Bucks. He joins us now on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. What's up, Trell?
Hey, Sparky. I think it's not a good thing if they don't get it done, but I want to explain what I think is going on with all the research that I've been doing.
All right.
I think that the Bucks are trying to get Boston to give up more than just Jaylen Brown, because I think even though it's been a whole lot of media posturing going on, but from what I can read from Sam Amick, from Mark Stein, from 2 or 3 other people, what's his name, Kevin O'Connor. From what I'm reading, all of what they're saying, pretty much they're trying to act like Jaylen Brown's not involved, but they can't say he's not involved. But Boston, Brad Stevens is saying, I only need to beat Miami's offer. So I'm not going to come and just give you a haul of offer, everything you want, because I'm giving you something better than what they're offering. But the Bucks want picks with that, which is understandable. So I see it from both ways, which makes sense. But I think it's something that may get done hopefully over the weekend, because I think the Bucks need to get the deal done so they can send Jaylen Brown to whatever team that they can get another haul from. But I think they want picks also from Boston, which is understandable. So I think that's where it's coming from. I mean, I'm just upset too, because it looks like Jimmy Haslam's going to be the full-time owner over the Bucks. That really pissed me off when I seen that.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, Edens will have to sell, and all of that will have to go down at some point for that to happen. But there's a lot of talk out there about Amen being that guy from Tennessee, because, of course, Haslam is a graduate of there, big-time donor to Tennessee. So maybe Haslam kind of pushes forward that Amen makes or is the selection from Tennessee, even though, again, seemingly everybody you talk to, other than Brian Butch, nobody seems to think Amen's that guy going forward. Trell, thanks for the call, man. We're going to have to get to another quick timeout because, as always, I'm running behind. Habish, and Rotier, baby. Plead the Fifth Friday coming up tomorrow at 4:20. Your chance to tell somebody to just hush their mouth. You talk too much. You're making yourself look foolish. And it's brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. We've been doing business since 1930, man. If you're hurt in a car accident and you need somebody that you can trust, somebody that's going to go to bat and do the best for you, why not go to the best? Habish, and Rotier, national reputation, hometown service. All you have to do is go to habish.com to find out more information about them. I'm telling you, that's who you go to. They'll take care of you at the end of the day. More Charlie Sounds of the Day coming up next as we're out here at Summerfest by the hole-in-one competition brought to you by X Golf. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is that time again. Welcome in as we are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, out here at Summerfest, right by the hole-in-one competition brought to you by X Golf. You get a hole-in-one if you're the first one to do it at Summerfest, $5,000. That's a pretty good reason to go try it for a hole-in-one. It's sitting on a barge out in the middle of the water, so it's not like you're going to hit it on the grass and have it roll into the hole. That's not going to be as easy as you maybe could be able to do on a golf course, let's say. So definitely a little bit more difficult, as it should be if you're playing for $5,000. Steve Sparky Fiber with you. Charlie Hughes producing back in the studios. Tim Allen, Tommy Wirtz out here. Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show once the Brewers and Guardians are done. That game tied at 2 right now in the 7th inning at American Family Field. Brewers looking to get the sweep, so it should be fun to see if they're able to pull this off. Shane Drowan, not a bad day overall, Charlie. A couple runs in, 5-6 innings? I'll take it.
5 innings. I'm a little frustrated with the way that Murph sometimes goes with the end. There goes the tie game right off that. Travis Bazzana, home run, makes it 3-2 for Cleveland. I'm not a fan of the way that Pat Murphy goes about, with Drowan, and he did it with Sproat too. When these guys are going, he just takes them out of games and he puts in this bullpen, which I know you trust in these more veteran guys. But if Drowan's rolling, if Sproat's rolling, let him pitch. Let him go out there and just keep rolling. I know he has to worry about the pitch counts and everything, but you're the boss, man. Screw the pitch counts for a little bit. Let these guys roll.
Grant Anderson gives up that home run. Grant Anderson has been really, really good for the last, month or so as far as not giving up runs and really doing his job. So it was probably due somebody was going to get a hold of one there. So 3-2 now, Guardians over the Brewers, top of 7. Normally we do this segment at 3:40, a little bit earlier today because you don't know what time this Brewer game is going to get done at when you plan out the show. So let's get to Charlie's Sounds of the Day.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, Charlie Hughes, let's get to you for your Sounds of the Day.
All right, so for my Sounds of the Day, first up, I wanted to start with some big news that's happening in the world of baseball. The MLB today proposed some new changes to the drafts that would be a part of this huge labor negotiations discussion that they've been having on. This is J.J. Cooper of Baseball America breaking down what the MLB has proposed.
High school players would no longer be eligible for the MLB draft. Well, that's what MLB pitched today in a proposal that would dramatically reshape both the MLB draft and the international market. Eliminating high school players from the draft would not affect most players. Most players are now drafted out of college, but it would affect the top talents in the draft. Mike Trout was second in the MVP voting in a year that would now be the year in which he would be draft eligible. Connor Griffin will be 4 months into his major league career before he would have been draft eligible under this proposal. The draft would be cut from 20 rounds to 12, with fixed signing bonuses for each pick slot, and there would be a new 12-round international draft. Trading picks in the draft would be allowed. MLB's proposal would reduce the overall signing bonus pool by more than 50% compared to last year. MLB also made it clear that it is not intending to cut the minor league. There will continue to be 120 affiliated minor league clubs into the 2030s. MLB's proposal, if adopted, would be one of the most significant changes to the draft in years.
And what he didn't bring up in that clip as well is that there will be a new reform to the international draft for the MLB. So you would have a full-on one with a age limit to it. So guys that are under the age of 19, I believe, would not be eligible for that draft because, like he mentioned there, college sophomores are the limit for the college part of the draft. They keep that age range for the international draft as well.
So a couple of things. One, we don't even have an international draft right now, so this would be brand new. Can't imagine anybody over there would be very excited about this idea because right now you're 16 getting $1 million. That's a pretty cool deal. play over there, Dominican Summer League. Tommy always gives you the update on the Dominican Summer League for the Brewers. And then eventually you make it stateside, like Churio did, like Madej did, and some of these other cats. That has really worked out to the Brewers' advantage. Now what we're going to be talking about, if this were to occur, now you're saying these guys are going to be playing for 3 years, 4 years in the Dominican Summer League. Now they're going to be really polished. What that then becomes is when they come over, will they insert them not in rookie ball, not in A ball? Do they just skip to double A because they've got so much polish on them? Because you're going to have guys that are really, really good playing against each other at a high level. Like, that is going to be a thing. And will they then change the Dominican Summer League to break it up by age level so it's more competitive? Or are you going to put 16-year-olds in there with 18-year-olds and go figure it out? Or are they going to break it up kind of like youth baseball in the States where, all right, your 16-year-old Dominican Summer League here, here's your 17-year-old, here's your 18-year-old league, and then you're going to have, everybody going crazy at that point. The international draft, is that going to be established like the actual regular amateur draft for baseball? Will it be the same order? Will there be a lottery like the goofy one in Major League Baseball? What baseball should do is, tell you what, for the amateur draft here in the States, we got this dumb lottery system. We're not going to do that on the international draft side. So instead, on the international draft side, worst record to best record, that's how it's going to roll. And then you got to figure out how many rounds you're going to have. Are you going to have it be 20 rounds, 15 rounds in order to do this? How many kids will there be eligible at 19 from outside of the U.S.? I would imagine tons.
Probably. And I think their goal was to keep it as pretty limited as possible. There wasn't an exact number on the international draft yet, but it would be somewhere between like the 6-7 round mark, kind of like the NFL draft length about. And the other thing I guess I wonder about this too is with these new rules, do some of these kids that maybe want to go and play in pro ball right away take the route of some of those NBA players that when they instituted the college rule for that as well, where those guys went and played overseas instead, and you would go play in these other leagues because the Japanese baseball league is super polished. And if you're a young kid that they'd give an opportunity to go play over there, why wouldn't you? There's some leagues in Mexico that are super polished that you can go play and get some experience there as well. Like, there's other places to go that I think have better leagues than what the NBA players were going into when they were making that type of decision. I think that could be an interesting development too.
First of all, there's no chance I'm sending my college kid to go play in one of those leagues in Mexico. You call them super polished, show me. I don't believe that to be true. Second of all, Japan is an interesting deal as far as potentially going over there and playing. But really outside of that, there really isn't anything else like Euro basketball is for the NBA for them
what
to
we've
go
seen
to.
From the World Baseball Classic, that might not be true. Maybe there is better baseball across the world than we give credit to.
But can they afford to pay the amount of money you're going to have to pay these kids to go? And don't forget, you still have NIL money in baseball. Now, if I know my star player is going to be there for 2 years, 3 years, whatever, it makes sense. Remember how this is in high school. You can sign out of high school like Cooper Pratt did and go and leave back Ole Miss and not go. Okay. Or you can go to Ole Miss, but now you're stuck there for 3 years before you can go. Now what they're saying is you can leave college a year earlier, but you're going to have to go to school for at least 2 years. That is a little bit of a give and take. What I'm curious about is, what will the players union say about this? Will the players union care to even fight for this? Or will they say, fine, you can do whatever you want. We're all here. We don't care. You can do whatever you want, but we want this coming back our way, because there is not going to be, we're going to take this from you and you're not going to take something from us. Right? If we accept what you want to do with the drafting process, then you have to accept what we want in some other facet of this new CBA deal.
And I think that's fair of the Players Association. I also think the MLB doesn't propose this unless they think they can get some kind of win here, because I think so far they've only been shut down by the BPA, and this is a way for you, I think, to your point, that the players would look at this and say, okay, this isn't that big of a deal. Maybe they can just get their foot in the door finally and start getting these negotiations rolling for real, because so far it sounds like it's been pretty stalemate.
I'll tell you what else is going to happen. Right now, the way it's set up in baseball, the amateur draft and the international draft, you have a pool of money that you can spend from, and then you can determine however you want to spend the money. I bet you money the owners are going to be like, nope, no more of that, no more overpaying kids, no more paying 16-year-olds millions of dollars. You get into the international draft at 19. The first overall pick is this. The last pick in the last round is this, and everything between that is slotted. So you don't even need an agent. A lawyer could just essentially negotiate the deal, and you move forward. That's how it's a win for the owners. They're going to save themselves money, I would imagine, by the end of the day.
All right. Next up here on Sounds of the Day, I have a couple clips that talk about some of the less talked about sides of the Brendan Sorsby discussion. This is first his agent Ron Slavin alluding to Cincinnati not doing enough about Sorsby gambling addiction that they apparently knew about. This is courtesy of 105.3 The Fan down in Dallas.
The people I feel worse for besides Brendan is Texas Tech. And I know they might have, I think where they messed up was they talked too much. But nobody knew any of this about Brendan. Nobody knew when he was in the portal this was happening. I mean, Brendan probably should have gone in the draft in January, right? If we would have known, but nobody knew. So the people at Tech have been great, very supportive. Joy McGuire, I think, is one of the best human beings on the planet. He's a lot of head coaches are transactional. He is not. And they didn't do anything wrong here. If anybody should be questioned or be catching heat, it should be Cincinnati, because they knew for 2 years and never said anything and didn't do anything about it. So yeah, that's the part of the story that gets lost. And again, it's like, this is a 22-year-old kid who doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He's had 2 girlfriends his entire life. He's at church every Sunday. He's a great human being. And I guess his biggest fault might be he's too giving. When I say that, his involvement with some of his friends and the predatory world of gambling, where you turn 18 and, deposit $5, you get a free 100. And every single show on TV and every single radio show, everything is sponsored by a gambling site. So it's a scary world we're living in. And we, these kids have all been raised now with phones in their hands. So it's real easy to get on an app and place a bet.
Okay, this is nice. I give him credit. He was on The Fan in Dallas, our sister station, was the agent for Brendan Sorsby that you just heard there. I give him credit for dropping he goes to church every Sunday. I'm not really sure that really does anything for a lot of people. I mean, it's cool for me. I like to go to church as much as possible too, but at the end of the day, gambling is gambling, regardless if you're going to talk to God every Sunday or not. This is the thing. When we talk about them knowing at Cincinnati, right? They're saying, we didn't know anything. You ain't putting this on us. We didn't know anything. He's saying they did know. Now, what needs to be found out next, if the NCAA truly cares about this, is they now need to go investigate that university and see if anybody really did know over there. And if they did know over there and they have evidence that they did know, then they get penalized as well, and severely penalized. If you knew that your quarterback was betting on your games, your tail end better lose scholarships. You better lose bowl eligibility. The whole shebang should be dropped on that university if they knew Sorsby was gambling the whole time, like his lawyer says.
Yeah, it should be a really big kind of landslide here across those schools. Today, a little bit earlier during the show, a former Iona men's basketball player just got arrested for shaving points in a game too. So another basketball scandal in the NCAA. Like, this is all starting to kind of ball up too big right now. And the NCAA, again, really has to get control. And I think the best to do that is to start doing these investigations, start going to Cincinnati as quickly as possible, and show that you're at least a force a little bit, because you haven't done that ever in your existence. It's so frustrating. And next,
you really haven't.
Next up here, we're going to hear from Andrew Brandt, former Packers executive, also joining the Mason Crosby show tomorrow, I believe. He breaks down how Brendan Sorsby swindled Texas Tech.
This is an undernoticed, underreported, underthought of aspect to this whole thing. Brendan Sorsby is keeping the money he earned on this, let's say, $5 million contract that started paying probably in February or March until now. If it's $500,000 a month, let's say March, April, May, June, he just made $2 million for being around spring practice at Texas Tech. $2 million. $2 million. So Brendan Sorsby, without having played a game at Texas Tech, without having played it down or been allowed into the NFL, has made $2 million on top of what he made at Cincinnati. This guy is already a candidate for the Andrew Brandt Business of Sports Hall of Fame?
So Andrew Brandt, you said, is on the Crosby Show tomorrow?
I believe so. They were talking about it earlier today. Yep.
Nice. That is something that we have not talked about on our show. We didn't bring it up. We didn't talk about it. The aspect that I brought up was whoever paid for those lawyers to go challenge this and take this to court about his eligibility, and they won, right? So that lawyer got paid because they won. We know that. Who paid for that? Like, was that Texas Tech? Did they front the bill for the lawyer fees?
They did.
Was
That's
that
more
Sorsby
money.
had it right? Did Sorsby had to flip his own money at this in order to get it done? And Texas Tech flipped the lawyer fees, and he got to keep $5 million in NIL money. Yeah, he won all the way across the board. Maybe he knows somebody at the university. I don't know.
And maybe the lawyer, again, I brought this up the other day, like some lawyers will just do some work pro bono or for a cheaper fee just because it's good publicity for them to get their names out there.
Well, Kessler's been around forever, though.
Yeah,
man.
but also,
I mean, give me a break. Kessler doesn't need that.
It's nice to refresh people that you're around, you know, and in this case like this, it's nice to refresh people that, like, in a moment where you could make a landslide decision or help be a part of a landslide decision in college sports, that's something I think that's worthwhile for some people. And especially if, again, it gets your name back out into kind of the rotation again. So I think that helps.
If there was a Top Gun of lawyers, Kessler would be an instructor. Like, there is no chance that dude is doing crap for pro bono. I'll tell you that right now. Ain't no chance, no how, not happening. They're paying, and they're paying big in order for him to do this. And secondly, as you put it, well, you know, get his name back out there. Yeah, get his name back out there in a case that everybody despises and is angry about them winning at the end of the day.
But people like lawyers, you know, any publicity is good publicity. Like that's their kind of motto. I think some people that don't really care whether it's good, whether it's bad, as long as you're getting talked about, that's good.
I guess. Is that it? Is that all we got?
That's all three.
There you go. That is Charlie's Sounds of the Day for today. We want to talk a little bit more. The Brewers got themselves in a little bit of a jam here. They're up 3-2. Bases loaded right now. Top of 7 for the Guardians. Guardians up again 3-2. Top of 7. Bases loaded. After the last pitch, always make the switch. Tim Allen, Tommy Wirtz, Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show. Be out here broadcasting live at Summerfest this afternoon once the Brewer game is done. They're on after each and every game. And, of course, before each and every game, we have the leadoff show 1 hour before every game with Tommy Wirtz here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, too. So coming up next, let's say this is the Heat deal, is the deal that's going to happen for Giannis. That's the deal. They got nothing else better than that. They can't figure out how to get a third team involved. Boston says, we're done screwing around with this. We're done dealing with Giannis and his agents being involved. We're out. Miami's sitting there smiling going, hey, y'all, this is what we got. Take it, or we'll just get him for free in free agency. Like, you can keep him. We'll sign him ourselves in free agency because he wants to come here, and we're not going to give up anything for him. So what would you like to do, Milwaukee? And then Milwaukee goes, we're good. And they go into the draft with no trade. I don't know. So if it's the Heat or no trade, you have the Heat package or no trade at all. If you're the man in charge, what do? Do you take the Heat package just to end this thing and get it done with and say, to heck with this, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm beat down. I'm tired. I just want to relax and not hear that dude's name anymore. Is that where you're at as an owner, GM of the Bucks, where you just take the Heat deal and be done? Even if it means you get stuck with Tyler Hero, do you do that? Or do you go, heck with it then. We'll just play with them, and we'll see if we can add a piece or two to help them in free agency through mid-level exception and all this other stuff. And maybe we can convince him to sign it at some point during the season. Which way do you play this if you're the Bucks? It's the Heat deal or nothing. What do you do? Nikolai Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Make sure to dial it up right now. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. Welcome back, Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook out here at Summerfest by the hole-in-one competition, brought to you by X Golf. First person to get a hole-in-one out here at Summerfest gets $5,000. $5,000. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Now, again, it's an island hole, it's on a barge, all that fun stuff. So it's not easy, definitely not easy. But again, man, even if you have like little kids or whatever that want to give it a shot, who cares? It's a one-time deal. They do this once a year. Come on down. Let them give it a shot. Maybe even if they hit in the water, you take a little video. I always say this every year. Take a video of your kid hitting it into the water at like, I don't know, 6, let's say, right? And then every year they get to try. And every year you take the video of it getting farther and farther and farther. And when that kid hits it onto there, you got all those memories of every year, Charlie, of your kid giving it a shot and finally getting it onto the green.
And Chuck Garbinian of Garbinian on Golf 7 to 9 Saturday mornings, he convinced me that it's not that hard. He says he thinks I can do it. I like barely ever play golf. I can go drive. So, and he says it's so easy. That's what he says. And if you guys don't know, he's a really good golfer, like, like almost PGA level golfer. Like he's good. So I don't know if he's just pulling my chain, but he says almost anybody could do it. Like, so go out there and give it a shot. Why not?
Yeah, not good. Also not good. Jackson Cheerio getting drilled by a pitch, and he is not happy.
It was right on the guard. I think he'll be okay. I think it just hit him in the funny bone.
Yeah, he was not happy. Threw off his guard, and he said something towards the pitcher as he was walking down to first base.
The pitcher threw in on Yelich that bat before, too, so I think that's –
on the elbow guard, yeah.
I don't think it was malicious or anything the way he's been pitching. He just has not been able to hit the zone, the Holderman here.
Yeah, that was not good. Yeah, I mean, thank God the elbow guard was out because he was screaming and yelling like it really, really hurt.
That's what it's for. I don't want to get hit by an MLB pitch.
No, that's not good. So first and second now, 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th right now. Who's up now? Yeah, Trang's up. So Trang with a chance with one swing to give the Brewers a lead if he is able to do so. So we'll see if that works out at the end of the day. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit here about what to do if the Heat deal is the best deal on the table. You have nothing better. You can't find a third team. It's just you and them, Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, a couple other players, a bunch of picks, including 13 in the first round. If that's the best deal. Do you do the deal to get it over with? Or do you say, no thanks, we're going to wait till the summer, and we'll try and do something in the summertime once we get into free agency? What do you do if you're the Bucks right now? The draft is Tuesday night. Pro Hoops Draft Show Tuesday night, 6 to 9. Brian Butch, former Bucks center, former NBA center and Badger center, along with Brandon Snide. They'll take you pick-by-pick coverage on Tuesday night. So time's running out for the Bucks here. If they're going to do something with Giannis, they got to get to going here as time is clicking away. So if the Heat do have the best offer, do you make the deal to make the deal and be done with it? Or do you say, we're going to pass, we'll try and do something that gets us a better deal later this summer? Nicolay Law Talk and Text Line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, streaming live, of course, at WI Sports Radio on Instagram Live, on X, on YouTube. If you're there, like, subscribe at WI Sports Radio, trying to get those subscribers up for Tommy Wirtz, who's got a goal as we try to get closer to our 1-year anniversary. We'll see if we can get to that goal or not for Tommy Wirtz. Charlie, the Miami Heat have the best offer on the table. Are you making the trade, or are you trying to find a better deal after the draft?
I think I'm trying to find a better deal after the draft. I don't think I'm really in love with the Miami Heat's package right now. And I think there's some teams that even right up to the draft are going to be offering better packages, and teams that are higher up in the draft class. Like, I'm willing to get less overall in return. I don't really think this trade is about getting quantity overall. I think some people get lost in that. I think there is some quality to this trade too. And if you can get a pick really high in this year's draft, a draft class that a lot of people feel like could be a generational one moving forward, and still,
well, it's 13 though. I mean, that's not really high.
No, that's why I'm saying I don't want the Miami Heat. So that's why I'm saying I want to trade for somebody else's, some maybe closer to the draft. If you can get a trade coming up that way too. Like, again, I've talked about the Utah Jazz and the spot that they're in right now, which is a really weird one. The Chicago Bulls, who don't really know what direction they want to go in. Even the Washington Wizards, if they do want to get Trae Young on a contract here, are they willing to move some stuff around if it's for a Giannis to bring him in there, and they don't really trust Anthony Davis to be on the court? Like, there's other teams that I think are going to have picks that are more valuable than Heat's right now. And then overall, I think if the Heat is the best trade and nobody else is offering trades coming up to the draft class, Giannis is just worth more than that. Giannis as a player, Giannis as a person, Giannis as a culture guy is worth more than that to any team that's trading for him. And in my mind, if you can somehow package the picks that you get, package the player that you draft at that point, and try to find a way to pull the John Horse magic that we've seen in the past and make some crazy trades, sign some crazy players, make something happen, I'd rather go for that than just give up on what he has brought to the city and what he's done for this team in the past and say that that's not valuable to some other team in the future. I think it is. And I think you have to try to sell that. And if you can't sell that, then you need to try to build with that.
Base is loaded for Andrew Vaughn right now for the Brewers, down 4-2 as Holderman is having problems not putting people on base via getting hit by pitch or walks or whatever the case may be. This is the thing. I say that a lot, by the way. I think I'm gonna get a quarter charge every time I say this is the thing. When we talk about the Bucks and their future, if you're on draft night, you can't find a deal for Giannis outside that Miami Heat. But you have the Pelicans come calling about Miles Turner, or somebody comes calling about Bobby Portis or Kuzma on an expiring deal or something like that. Do you make those deals even though you don't know if you're going to be able to trade Giannis or what you're going to get? I mean, is there a scenario in which you make those deals, 2 or 3 deals, you get picks on draft night, and they're gone? You have all these young guys, and Giannis still sitting on the roster, essentially with an opportunity to where, oh, man, like, are they going to go in a training camp with Giannis and a bunch of young dudes with absolutely zero chance to win and really infuriate Giannis at this point? Or if you don't trade Giannis, is it, all right, we're going to hold on. We're going to hold on, and maybe we can add pieces once we get into the summer. We're not going to trade everybody, even though we have offers on the table.
I don't know. I think if you're going to go past this draft with Giannis, to go and trade all the other veteran pieces on this team just to give him a young team, again, I think you're just tarnishing whatever you had built with him before. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If you go past this draft and you decide that Giannis has to be on this team for this last year for whatever reason, you kind of have to go all kind of last dance, try to get him to buy into whatever you're selling in this last second and use all your assets for that instead. I think you have to post-draft pretty quickly make a decision on the direction that you want to go. And if you're going to trade everybody, you have to make sure that you can trade Giannis too. And I think if you're not going to trade Giannis and you're not going to trade everybody, then you have to find ways to make this team better, whatever way possible, and find other ways to compete. I don't know. I just, again, and I've said this over and over again with this Bucks team, is that they just have to make a decision. They don't do that enough. And it feels like that they're always waiting on each other, Giannis or the Bucks, to say something. And at some point, one of these sides has to just make a decision for the rest of everybody else. And if that's, you want to keep Giannis around and try to win, then do that. If it's you want Giannis to be gone and you want the rest of this team to blow up, then you have to do that. Or Giannis say, I'm done or I'm in. Just one or the other. Somebody has to make a decision for something.
From the 414 on the Nicolay Law Talk text line, 414-677-1250. It says, take the Heat package. Be done with this crap. I'm not against Tyler Hero as you are, Sparky. That's fair. That's all right. By the way, bases low to Andrew Vaughn. Ground ball to shortstop, backhanded play. Not a great throw. It still got Vaughn at first, so they escape without any damage, does Cleveland. Heading to the 8th, Guardians up 4-2. Another one here from the 262. 13th pick. We could draft the next Joe Alexander. I'm just telling you. I don't want the 10th pick. Nonetheless, the 13th pick. I mean, the 10th and the 13th pick, I don't think you're getting a star player in either of those positions. You're probably getting maybe a starter, probably a rotational player at 10 or 13. You're not getting a superstar. To get a superstar, you're going to have to move up in the top 3 or top 4. That is why getting the Bulls involved in a potential deal is a big deal. Getting the Jazz involved, if they want to be involved in a deal, is a big deal at this point. Even if you get to the Clippers at 5, maybe Peterson and his off-putting personality and how he goes about things, maybe he slips to you at 5 and you get really lucky and you get Peterson at 5.
Are you not sold on Acuff anymore, Sparky? You said you had to jump into that top 4 to get the player that's going to change your franchise, and you used to be really high on Acuff, so that was top 5, top 6.
I don't like what I'm hearing from the dude, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really care about defense necessarily. but the way he's answering questions is off-putting to me. Like, it's like, okay, I don't know how much this dude really is going to put everything he needs to put in on the other side. I saw an argument last night online on X. I didn't know anybody involved in it, but they're going back and forth talking about Acuff and the fact that, well, he was hurt. That's why it was affected defensively. And the other person responded, really? Look at his offensive numbers. After you said he was hurt, they didn't suffer. In fact, you could argue they got better. And the defensive side of the floor, he just stopped, right? So I think that is part of it. And maybe that is why the Bucks did work out Acuff, because maybe there's word that he may fall to 10. Now, in that scenario, if Acuff falls to 10, even though you may not like the dude, you got to take him.
Right.
You got to take him because the upside is through the roof with Darius Acuff. Amen. Well, whatever. All right. I can't find anybody that likes that dude other than Brian
Sounds
Bush.
like the Bucks are his floor is what everybody's saying. The Bucks are getting favored with him. That was Jake Weinbach that put that out there.
But the thing is, he could go before Acuff, right? If Acuff falls, you have to take him. Like, I don't care, personality issues, whatever else. You had John Moran over there in Memphis. Taylor Jenkins dealt with that. You are now going to deal with Darius Acuff because he can be an explosive scorer for you at this point, Charlie. A guy that can average 25 points a night in the NBA. Nobody else sitting there at 10 is going to give you that opportunity.
Well, and again, like you said, a guy that's falling that far in the draft who was a projected top 5, top 6 guy prior to that, you have to take a chance on that if you're a team like the Bucks who are stuck in kind of this middle ground. That's the perfect type of player that can reset you really fast. And yes, if he doesn't work out at 10, he's still a bust, but at the same time, it's not that big of a deal because he was a 10th overall pick and not a 6th overall pick that you traded up to move and get. Like that's a really low gamble for this Milwaukee Bucks team that I think they should be willing to take if he's going to fall that deep.
All right, so what'd you do? If the Heat is the best offer on the table, some first-round picks, the first of which will be 13 coming up in the draft on Tuesday night, Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, a couple other rotational role players, 2-team deal. You don't get third team involved. You get Hero on an expiring deal at $30+ million a year. You get Khalil Ware, who had flashes at Miami, but also was bad enough to get yanked out of the rotation. A couple other dudes. With all these picks, do you do that, or do you gamble and wait till after the draft in hopes that maybe you can find a better deal after the draft is done? Nikolai Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. From the 414, at this point, make those moves. Those players aren't going to help the Bucks compete. The kids are more likely to grow into players who help more at this
point.
And now,
PT's point. Yeah.
Very good. At this point. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. What we were talking about earlier is if you have Giannis, you're not moving Giannis, but you have offers for Miles Turner. You have offers for Bobby Portis. You have offers for A.J. Green or whoever. Do you still make those moves even though you haven't officially moved off of Giannis at that point? Does that become a thing? From the 262, top 2, Jabari Parker or Bogut, shoot me now. All right, so
both
let's
of the
talk
guys
about,
would have been good if they didn't get hurt. Like, come on, those were good picks.
Let's talk about both of those, right? So the Jabari Parker deal was literally going to be one of 2 players, right? We knew that going in. And that deal was made for them because they were sitting there at 2. So they took Jabari. That night on draft night, I brought up, I was like, really talented player, not a Duke guy. Don't really like Duke players. But Joel Embiid, that might be a better fit maybe at the end of the day with Giannis than maybe Jabari Parker. And everyone's like, you're crazy, you're crazy. Okay, fine. So be it. And not that Joel Embiid has won jack because he hasn't. But that would have been an interesting pairing with Joel Embiid being able to pull bigs away from the floor, having both those guys as rim protectors. And Jabari Parker looked damn good until he ruined his knee. And it was over after that.
Well, he looked good after the first knee, too. So it was almost like he was coming in the second knee, and that's what killed him.
That was it. And then Andrew Bogut, man, come on. The top 2 guys in that draft were Bogut and Marvin Williams. Marvin Williams wasn't even starting at North Carolina at that point. Marvin Williams came in, did the workout. I don't think Marvin Williams even finished the workout that they gave him in Milwaukee. He made the selection for him. Okay, it's Bogut. Rick Majerus spoke highly of Andrew Bogut at that point. So it was Andrew Bogut all day long. Bogut was finally starting to turn the corner, and what happened? Stoudemire pushes him going up for a dunk. Down he goes, was never the same after that. I really think Bogut was on his way to doing something, but
well, he was still able to stick around and be a really solid role player after all those injuries too, which I think says something about the type of player he was before those injuries. I think that's really impressive to be able to do that. I always talk about Blake Griffin, to be able to go and find a new role and be that type of player after you were a star and after all those injuries. That just shows how talented you were before those injuries.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. He is Charlie Usett, C. Sparky Pfeiffer over here, Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, right over here by the X Golf Hole-in-One competition. First person to get a hole-in-one here at Summerfest gets $5,000, courtesy of X Golf and that hole-in-one competition. Coming out, give it an opportunity, give it a chance, and see if you can do your thing. You heard Charlie, Chuck Garbedian of Garbedian Golf says it's easy.
Right. He's the guy to ask, too, so I don't know.
Garbedian needs to come out here. I want to see him do it. For $5,000, Chuck, come on out here, hit the hole-in-one, and get $5,000. If it was that easy, why wouldn't he just do it every year? He could sell the cars after he won it every year.
That's a good point. I don't know. I'll tell him.
Cars
I'll let him know you're challenging him.
Do you know how many cars he could have sold by this point? And he just come out here and won it every year, to the point where they would ban him possibly going forward. And they decided, like, yep, you're too good. You're going to have to go home. What's not too good, the Banana Frosty Swirl. It's amazing. It is unbelievable. It is delicious. It is a godsend. The Banana Frosty Swirl at Wendy's is the perfect treat, Minion friends. They created the banana cream sauce with real banana. The flavor is like a classic banana cream pie or pudding and pairs perfectly with Wendy's Vanilla Frosty. Check out the new Banana Frosty Swirl today. I am going to need a banana Frosty Fusion. If we made a Banana Frosty Fusion, what goes in to a Banana Frosty Fusion? Because, go ahead.
I was going to say like some kind of banana bread chunks or something like that. I think you can mix those
banana
in
bread. Bread and ice cream.
You never like cake batter ice cream with like the cake in it or like the cheesecake pieces in it?
Yeah.
I
have had
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I was thinking, and maybe this is wrong, like Nilla wafers. That would go into it, right? So like kind of like banana cream pie ice cream, essentially, that go along with it. Because, you know, like they have their brownie Frosty Fusions or whatever else, where you have like chunks of brownie in there. You got another one with Oreos that's in the Oreo one. I mean, there's
my girlfriend
lots of examples.
My girlfriend likes circus peanuts, and those are banana flavored. We put those in there. I knew you would think those are gross. I think they're gross too.
No, that's disgusting. No, Kay loves those circus peanuts too. I hate. And again, I don't even know what they taste like. As soon as it goes in my mouth, I'm like, I'm gonna throw it out. Nope, I cannot. I absolutely cannot handle the texture on circus peanuts. 1,000% out on circus peanuts. I got another one here from the 262. It's a crapshoot. You keep Giannis. Trade Giannis equals 20 years of obscurity. That, I'm betting, is an old person like me who has gone through the crappy years with the Bucks. Is probably not somebody's Charlie's age who still has the glass half full of.
Hey, we went through some crappy years too, though. Like growing up, there were some bad ones.
Fine, but I mean, most people in their 20s still have that glass half full idea of, hey, they can rebuild this like Oklahoma City. They can be right back on top within 3 to 5 years and have a chance to compete for a title again. Just because they're losing Giannis doesn't mean you can't get back. I think it's more difficult in the NBA in a small, cold weather market than it is in any other sport.
I believe it. And I think that's fair to look at some of these other sports and say, like, seasonal, you have domes. Like, when you're not playing basketball, I think there's a lot to the environment that's around you, and the basketball players make a lot out of it too, more so than I think some of these other players, other athletes. That's a big deal to them.
Yeah, no question. Okay, Charlie Usett over there, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer here. It is the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, live from Summerfest. Come on out, hang out with us. Coming up next, things that we missed on today's show, and it looks like we're going to be going longer than one more segment, but we'll talk about that coming up next here at Summerfest. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Fiver with you. Tommy Wirtz hanging out here waiting for that Brewers game to end. Once that Brewers game is over, then we will get to the point of hearing what Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz have to say about this game with the Potawatomi Sportsbook as we're out here at Summerfest by the X Golf Hole-in-One Challenge. Again, first one to get a hole-in-one at Summerfest during that challenge gets $5,000. Definitely worth giving it a try. Come on out, say hi, hang out with us. I'll be back out here tomorrow as well from 2 until 5 doing Wisconsin Sports Daily tomorrow afternoon too. Hey, Charlie, I have a lot of things that occur in my house that I don't understand. And there are things that I hear on the radio that I don't understand.
Right.
So, for instance, on the radio earlier today, Rami Makloff said something about going to some concert about some person named SZA. What is that?
SZA is a female R&B artist. She's one of the biggest female R&B artists in the world right now. Super popular. It's SZA is her name. Yeah, she's really good. Yeah, that's an expensive concert to go to. That's a fun one to go to. That's probably a hard one to go to.
I don't know. He hated it and was stuck in the rain during it.
Never mind.
Wanted to leave immediately. He was there for his girl, so that's why he went. This is like a couple of
sense.
years ago. So earlier today, Josh was talking about deals where concerts or whatever, because like Trevor Thomas was at Garth Brooks last night here at or at the Marcus Amphitheater, not Summerfest, but Marcus Amphitheater, and had water dripping on the entire show while it was going on. So Josh turned it into a topic and said, hey, have you ever gone to a concert or a game or event where it was ruined because of bad weather?
Have you?
Yeah. I mean, I've sat at County Stadium, Tim Allen and I, behind home plate with literally it's snowing so hard you couldn't see the outfielders.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
I've absolutely been in that scenario where that's happened. I've been to a Brewers-Yankees game with my dad when Dave Winfield was playing. We sat through like a 2-hour rain delay or something, pouring outside. So I've been in a bunch
I got another one for you. Summerfest also, I saw Little Uzi Vert. That's one that you probably never heard of before. He's a rapper. That concert, it was raining all day before, and you had to get there pretty early to get good seats. And it was just pouring throughout the day. People were throwing water bottles at each other during the rain. It was crazy.
Little Uzi Vert would be like eating a banana meatball in like the Minions or something. That's what it sounds like. I mean, I don't know.
He's awesome. I don't know if he's still awesome. I don't really listen to him anymore, but when I did, he was cool. Yeah.
I'm shocked that you don't listen to that person. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook out at Summerfest. More to come.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of Wisconsin Sports Daily. Will we complete another full hour here, Charlie, of Wisconsin Sports Daily? Brewers.
I'm
right
feeling
now,
good about Christian Yelich right here. I don't know. I have a good vibe.
I told Charlie, no, I'm not at all.
You're always so negative. Aaron's in here being negative too. You guys are just vibe killers, man.
I hope I'm wrong. I mean, Yelich has been clutch in situations for certain, no question. I just don't necessarily like this. I'm kind of hoping for a walk. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. What is it, 1-2 right now? Is that what you have it at?
Well, it was 1-2, and now it's a strikeout. And then
he struck out to end the inning. See what I tell you, Tommy? I told Tommy. I walked up.
It was a hittable pitch for him to. Ugly, man. I hate this.
I'm telling you, I don't know, man. Like I don't want to be too hard on you. Yeah, look, top of the zone, 97. What I tell you, he can't hit that pitch, man. If you throw Yelich top of the zone with any type of velocity, he is screwed. I don't know why you would throw anything else to that guy.
Why is that a problem? It feels like for these, taller Brewers that are on this roster. It feels like Garrett Mitchell was struggling with that earlier on in the season. He kind of figured it out a little bit. I think he just got less aggressive with a lot of those pitches. But Churio sometimes has trouble with those, and Yelich has trouble with those. Sometimes. What's that problem?
It's a hard pitch to hit, man. Like I don't care what age group you're in. You could be in 10U baseball, high school, college. A high fastball is hard, but the elite are going to hit that pitch in Major League Baseball. And that's why Mizorowski is so good, because there aren't many dudes that are hitting that pitch. If you took Mizorowski, if you took Mizorowski and said, get Christian Yelich out, Yelich may not don't even come up with a bat. He's done. It's over. There's no chance he's hitting 103. And it's not happening. Not here, right? If it's down in the zone, maybe he's got a chance at it. Up in the zone, no. And it's not just him. It's across Major League Baseball. That's what makes this sport so tough. You hear it all the time, right? What's the toughest thing to do in sports? Hit a baseball. That's it. Not catch a football, not throw a football, not make a basket. It's hitting a baseball that's going like this. Like the hand-eye coordination is stupid in order to be able to do that on a consistent basis.
What about hitting a hole-in-one? How hard is that?
Garbedian said that's easy. Garbedian said this hole-in-one stuff out there is easy. Hey, tell Charlie he could go hit a hole-in-one for 5 Gs.
Which I don't believe at all.
Right, sure. I'll pay money to watch Garbedian give you lessons out here, and you try and hit a hole-in-one.
Maybe we should do that for one of his shows. We should just go out there for 2 hours, have him coach me up, and then I get like 10 balls to see if I can get it in.
You'll be the only ones out here. It ain't open that early. You'll be the only 2 guys out here.
That's cool. Maybe Tim will come play some music for us. He can have a private gig or something on one of the stages. It'll be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Hey, anything is possible if you put your mind to it, Charlie. That's what that's what they tell you. I want to get your thoughts as we're out here at Summerfest by the hole-in-one challenge for X Golf. First person to hit a hole-in-one at Summerfest gets 5 Gs. Last year, it was a different sponsor. They had a vehicle, and a dude hit a hole-in-one the very first day. Like, it was done by the time we came on the air. And then everybody was just playing for the other random prizes that were out here in the hole-in-one. All right, Charlie, let's talk about this statement. Well, first of all, set it up better. Talk about the new way that the owners of Major League Baseball want to change how the draft is done and how the international kids are brought into Major League Baseball, because these are huge sweeping changes.
Right. So right now, as is, you can have high school players in draft classes. These international players all go into this international signing pool. Teams go in, work them out, sign them, bring them up to their summer league, stuff like that. All of this is going on. It feels pretty Wild West when it comes to that side of things. Well, the MLB, in their proposals in the negotiations for this upcoming labor deal that they're working on right now with MLBPA, released a proposal today that says that there will no longer be high school kids allowed in the draft. That was kind of the headline of it. These players will now have to be sophomores in college at least to be drafted into the MLB. With this change here, there also comes a lot of change in the way that they're setting the contracts for these players that are getting drafted. There's a lot of money getting taken out of that side of things. along with the international players, will no longer be in a pool, but will be drafted in a shorter draft than the MLB draft, but one that sets it up so that these guys are no longer just going out there and signing contracts with whatever teams they want, but that when they hit that 19-year-old age right about where they would be college sophomores, they can then enter the international draft, where there will be a second one that the MLB can control. The MLB came out with that. They seemed pretty confident that that was going to be a good proposal. Well, the MLBPA put out this statement earlier today. This is for immediate release from the MLBPA today. MLB made another set of proposals that are flat out bad for baseball, ones that would cripple the next generation of players and damage the future of our game. They would, among other things, eliminate over $1 billion in player compensation from the international and domestic system over the next 5 years, with a $400 million reduction from 2026 to 2027 alone. Destroy fundamental player rights and remove talent from our sport by barring high school and junior college players, anyone under age 20, from the domestic draft. Abolish an entire year of international signings by delaying the first draft until at least September of 2027 and as late of March of 2028. Denying young international players the ability to start their professional careers. Players remain committed to bargaining in good faith and leaving baseball better than they found it. The lease proposals fall woefully short.
All right, then. So there you go. And what we talked about this earlier was, are they going to have these guys back? Because these guys are in big league baseball, right? So will they have the back of people that are not in Major League Baseball, that are not a part of the union, that aren't in anywhere, right? The international kids that we're talking about are, 15, 14, whatever, that eventually this would cost, the opportunity of, I'm going to sign with you at 16. Well, now you can't. Now you got to wait 3 more years. So you're screwing with those kids. These guys don't know those kids from Adam, but they're sticking up and defending for those kids. You're talking about kids that are in high school that are sophomores right now, juniors. What would it be? Sophomores that are planning on, maybe if I'm really good, I'm going to go into the amateur draft and not go to college. Now it's going to be, nope, you have to commit to college and you got to go play at least 2 years. The other aspect of this that we did not bring up is this really kind of throws everything into a loop a little bit, because transfer portal is a very big thing in college baseball right now too. Just like we don't talk about it as much because college baseball isn't as big nationally and followed as much as is college football and college basketball, but it's a very, very active thing. Now you're forcing guys to stay in. Now, how does that affect all these high school kids that are now looking at it? Because before you go to college, you're guaranteed 3 years. Fine. But now all these high school kids that were leaving now are staying. Now there's less scholarship opportunities at all these major schools for all these kids. Now these high school kids that may have gotten into a low Division I, now all of a sudden are going, well, I guess I'm going to have to go play JUCO. Now all these kids that were going to play JUCO, like a Mizorowski or whatever else, maybe they can't play JUCO. Now they're at a Division II or a Division III school trying to work their way up to get to a JUCO or a Division I. Like, the fallout from this is going to be gigantic if these sweeping changes are allowed, Charlie.
Well, and from that response, I don't think they are going to be allowed. It doesn't seem like the MLBPA likes any bit of what they brought up, what they suggested. It just doesn't make sense, I guess, from their side of things, how they break it down, all the money that they're giving up, all the years of control that they have personally that they would kind of be giving up in situations like that. Like, that just feels like too much for the MLBPA to want to move on from, especially when I think there's this cap that needs to go into place that the owners are trying to push for. And if that cap goes into place, you can't also take money from their mouths in another way as well. And that's the problem. And I think right now the players are leaning more towards allowing this cap to happen as long as they get a few other things. And this is just asking for way too much from the owners, despite, in my mind, if this makes sense. I think you do need a little bit more control in the system that you have right now across MLB. I know from a Brewers fan perspective, that's kind of scary because this is how they've built everything, is through these drafts, through the international player.
I don't know, Chuck. Were you in?
Are you going to talk?
I wanted to talk about
okay,
this
go ahead and talk.
Because I think that this is something that evens a playing field for something that is in the current state of baseball right now. What does this do for the Brewers, who have invested so heavily in the Dominican League.
Doesn't change
and the Dominican
anything.
Summer Leagues. Why does it not?
Because what's going to happen here is the Dominican Summer League will actually become a bigger thing for you than anything on the leadoff show, because you talk about the numbers already, right? So now the decision would have to be made if we get to this point of you have to be 19 or 20 to go in. Now it's going to have to become, I think, like youth baseball, to where it's going to be the 16U Dominican Summer League, the 17U, the 18U, the 19U, because I can't imagine they're going to put 16 and 19-year-olds together and go, here, go play in this same league for 3 or 4 years against the same kids over the course of time. Maybe they would do that, but those kids that now come out, now instead of going, you're going to go play in the complex league. No, you're not. You're going to go play in low A. No, you're not. You may go right to double A. Do you know how polished Jackson Churio would be if he was just allowed to come out at age 20 to come into Major League Baseball after playing against kids, again, that are as good as him? And the amount of money that they would screw these guys out of. Because if they were allowed to draft them and pay them whatever, now they're not going to pay him nearly as much as they were going to pay him at 16 or 17. It's all going to be slotted, just like baseball. No more pools of money in baseball. That's gone, right? So now the Brewers, we like Cooper Pratt. We're going to overpay him slot in the 6th, use our money strategically, and pay him like a second rounder to get him not to go to Ole Miss. That's gone. It's going to be slotted. You can have a lawyer do your contract. You don't even need an agent. And we're going to save ourselves a boat ton of money as Major League Baseball owners and become even more of a billionaire group of people.
And you also brought up, I do think that this is going to increase college baseball's popularity just in general, right? Because now you got your top recruits that instead of going to the draft, I mean, I do think baseball is missing out on some awesome storylines. Like, look at Connor Griffin this last year, right? And how great that storyline was on if he is going to make the opening day roster as a teenager, right? Because he had those opportunities from being drafted out of high school and was able to progress through the minor league system. And the Pirates still ended up paying him, right? They still gave him his money. They still gave him his deal before the season started this year. I just think it's really weird to mess with what the current state is right now, especially with the Milwaukee Brewers, who are so heavily involved in Central America and, the Caribbean area, to try to get more players to come in through the international pathway. Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this. And if the team wants to take a chance on a high schooler, why not let them take that chance? That's the same
like
thing with the
NBA.
NBA, right? Why did they? Zion Williamson could have been on an NBA roster without going to Duke.
I'll tell you why. Because it was affecting their product at one point. You had guys like Jermaine O'Neal, who had no business being in the NBA, sitting on the Trailblazers bench, being god-awful.
Brown.
And eventually they worked. But there were so many of them that they were getting drafted, it was affecting the actual product and diminishing how good the product was. I want to bring this up to you. You will never see a 20-year-old in Major League Baseball after this.
Yes.
You're not going to see a 21-year-old in Major League Baseball. But this is what you will see. Much better minor league baseball. I mean, A-ball, high A-ball, double A-ball. It's all going to be way better quality baseball because they're all going to be far more seasoned and ready to play at those levels. There's going to be a way better quality of baseball. But who this screws, going back to this, small market teams.
Yes.
That's who this is going to screw really at the end of the day.
Right. You're giving, these are now just going to be, you already know the Dodgers invest heavily over in the Dominican and everywhere over there too.
But no longer, does that matter as much? Because now you're in a draft.
Especially when the Brewers invest so heavily in it because they see that return on investment being more worth it as opposed to going into free agent pools and making big trades for guys with big contracts. They are investing more into something that costs a little bit less than to go all in, but it's brought us products like a Jackson Churio, a Jesus Madej, a Luis Pena that have all been in this system now for a couple of years.
And you got guys down there now. Who is it? Arias or whatever his name is? Frias. That's it.
He's up to the complex league now. But I don't think that this is helping small market at all. If the Brewers the Brewers do invest heavily in that part of Major League Baseball because it makes more sense to invest more money in the Dominican Summer Leagues and in those Dominican complexes over there. I don't get it.
I wonder, when this comes up, are like all the owners in a room talking about how this is going to help or hurt? And how much knowledge does Mark actually have about what the heck is being talked about? Like, is he on the phone with Matt Arnold going, Matt, is this going to hurt us? Is this going to screw us? Should I vote against this? Should I be fighting against this? or do they sit in a room, 2-3 people talk, they go, okay, and we just roll with it and everybody's on the same
Steve
page?
Cohen and Steinbrenner have more say, and you want to be on their good side if you're an owner that maybe doesn't spend as much or something like that?
I don't know. That's a good point. Hey, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, proudly outfitted by Burghardt Sporting Goods, our official apparel partner. Outfit your team or company with custom apparel today at BurghardtSportingGoods.com. The Brewers 2 outs. Andrew Vaughn up in the 9th.
Can he hit a two-run homer with no one on base?
No.
Can't say that's a thing that happens.
He cannot do that, but that's okay either way. So a couple outs. Vaughn is up. Bottom of the 9th. This one is going to be done here momentarily, it appears. And then Tim and Tommy are standing by out here at Summerfest. We're like kitty corner from the hole-in-one brought to you by X Golf. Again, the first person out here at Summerfest hit a hole-in-one, $5,000. If you're the first one to hit a hole-in-one brought to you by X Golf, they have their indoor simulator out here as well.
Jake's on.
All of that fun stuff. Vaughn just walked. And now up comes Tommy's guy, Jake Bowers.
If Jake Bowers hits a game-tying homer at Summerfest here,
would you get on a singing stage, Tommy? Or stage and sing?
If Tim plays guitar, yeah.
Okay. Oh, Andrew Vaughn stolen base.
Wait a second.
Andrew Vaughn stolen base.
If Bowers hits a home run, you will sing on stage at Summerfest if Tim has a guitar in his hand.
Yeah.
That will be done.
That's a promise, yeah.
You.
Yeah.
That will be done before the end of Summerfest.
I'm sure.
In fact, I know
Jake
a person
Bowers
that's playing drums out here for a band. So what
Flies
happened?
out. He just flew out.
Bowers choked.
Yeah.
Okay, so
shut
coming up next, Tommy Words, the franchise, Tim Allen, Potawatomi Sportsbook. Here's I'm seeing it now. This is a normal fly
Oh,
out.
thanks.
He tried hard.
I could have turned this off.
Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show coming up next. Tommy Words, Tim Allen here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Have a good night, Wisconsin. Toodles.